As a divorce coach working with men, I spend a lot of time talking to people who are suffering from terrible, terrible pain. And I recently had a client ask me, how do I do this day in and day out? And I want to share this with you because if you're going through a divorce and you feel like your pain is too much for you or it's too much for the people around you, I think this is going to be really, really important for you to hear. I know it's not only excruciating, it's often overwhelming and it's often unbearable. And the pain of divorce not only puts you into fight or flight, it often puts people into freeze, into this state of despair, paralysis, fear, where they really can't function very well. And so, I have conversations with people in those states all of the time, and they're telling me about the shame they feel, the sense of failure in their marriage. They're telling me about regrets, things they wish they could take back. They've been married for 10 years, 20, sometimes 40, 45 years. Sometimes they have small kids and suddenly they've been thrust into the role of being a single parent, something maybe they've never had to do before in their entire lives. And other times they're finding that they don't have their children for long stretches of time and they just can't stand it. They go crazy and they can't protect their kids from what happens when they're not with them. Other times they've got grown kids or even grandkids, and their whole life has been this marriage, this person, the things that they've sacrificed to take care of this family, and now she's gone. And so for most of the men at that stage, there is an immense amount of grief, overwhelming anxiety, and then there's a sense of despair. It's like all of the color has been sucked out of the world and they can't see the point. They're struggling to find any sense of purpose, any motivation. Why keep going? Why keep struggling when all there is this hurt? And so I'm not going to lie, those conversations can be hard. It is painful to be with someone who's in a lot of pain, but I genuinely enjoy those conversations, and there's a very specific reason for this. It's because many of those men that I talk to that are in such a dark place, that are really, really hurting, many of them work with me. They join my coaching program, Better Beyond Divorce, and they do the work to heal these emotional wounds, to rebuild their sense of identity, find their purpose, make sense of the divorce and what she was thinking and what she did and their own mistakes, and they find forgiveness for themselves and even for her. And so I also get to talk to men every single day in my community in Better Beyond Divorce, men in my coaching programs who are healing. I get to see them 2 or 3 weeks in when they say, hey, I can actually kind of function today. This anxiety isn't as bad. Yeah, it's still there, but it's not awful. Hey, I slept last night. Hey, my weight has stabilized. I'm not just dropping weight like crazy anymore. I get to hear those little wins, little successes. And then I get to talk to those same men 2 months down the road when they're like, I actually can look in the mirror and kind of like the guy that I see. My brain, these ruminating thoughts, they're not torturing me like they used to be. I'm actually starting to see myself and believe that I am a good person and I'm making sense of my mistakes. Right? And then I get to see them 3 months, 4 months, 5 months down the road, and they're feeling compassion and empathy for their ex-wives. Their anger is dissolving, the despair is starting to evaporate, and they're really seeing the color come back into the world. They're seeing the future open up, and they can start to imagine a future for themselves. And I get to see those same men even further down the road. Just the other night, I sat down with a group of men who have been with me between 6 and 8 months, and they had all done one of my intensive programs and had been through my BBD course. And here we are having this group coaching call, and we're not talking about the pain. We're not talking about the suicidal thoughts and the despair and the lack of color and life and possibility in the future. No. Instead, we're talking about all of their successes, all of their wins. We're talking about how great things are going with their adult children. We're talking about one fellow who's dating after being married for over 40 years, and he is discovering how amazing it feels to talk to somebody and have her respond in a compassionate, empathetic way. He's like, I find myself over and over, I go to say something and I assume I know how she's going to react, and then she doesn't react that way. And he's like, I'm really finally seeing and believing that not every woman in the world is my ex-wife. And I don't have to have a relationship that has the same pain points, the same lack of intimacy, lack of connection, the withdrawing, the shutting out, the stonewalling. I don't have to have that. I can have real connection. I can be honest. I can say what I'm thinking. I can share with these women, and they're able to hear that and engage with me, and they're genuinely interested in doing that. These are the kinds of conversations that I get to have every single day. And yes, I also have conversations every day with people who are at the beginning of that journey. And they do have suicidal thoughts, and they are in incredible, unbearable, intolerable emotional pain. And what gets me through those conversations is that as I'm on the phone with them or on a Zoom call coaching them, I know with absolute certainty that one day, not so many months down the road, I'm going to be on a call with that same man, and I'm going to be listening to him tell me about how well things are going with his children, how good he feels about himself, how calm and focused he is at work, how well he sleeps, how energized he is throughout the day. And he's even going to be telling me about the amazing new relationship. I recently got an email from a past client who just got engaged and is talking in his email about how this relationship is so different because the way that he shows up, the way that he knows how to communicate, his level of emotional intelligence, his ability to be emotionally responsive is so different than it was in his marriage because he really committed not just to his own healing, but to learning these skills along the way. And that's why I wanted to share this video with you guys here on YouTube today, because there's so much pain out there. There's so much suffering. And those of you going through the early stages of a separation or divorce, especially one that you don't want, it is going to feel like everything is crashing down around you. Like it is literally destroying your life, destroying your future, taking away everything that you have worked so hard for, that you have sacrificed so hard for. And it is going to be really, really hard to get up and keep going day to day. It's going to be hard to go to work. It's going to be hard to ask for help. And there's going to be a lot of you that the only reason that you even get out of bed in the morning is because you have children and you don't want to leave them in a world without their father. So for any of you who are in that dark, painful, excruciating, unbearable place, hear this from me. There is another side to this. And I have the amazing honor and privilege in my job that I get to see it every single day. I get to see men moving out of that hole, out of that darkness, into the light. And what your brain will probably not be able to really believe yet, but I hear it again and again. On the other side, they look back and they actually see the opportunity in this. Because when you heal from divorce, you're not just healing from divorce. Every single person I work with finds that there are older wounds, older injuries, damaged sense of self, lack of self-worth, a difficulty or not knowing how to effectively communicate what they need or what they're feeling, that other people are misunderstanding that or not responding to them in the ways that they want. Whenever we go in to heal the wounds from divorce, we always find something older. Something that has been limiting you, making your world smaller, or making your relationships less intimate, less connected, less deep. And so as you do this work to heal from the divorce, you have an opportunity to heal all of those old wounds as well. And that means that when you move forward from this, everything in your life is going to be more vibrant and brighter than it was before the divorce, because you are going to be able to connect to your children in a way that is deeper and clearer and more genuine than before. You're going to be able to connect to women, to friends, to family on a very different level than you were before. And maybe most importantly, you're going to be connecting to yourself in a different way than you were before. You're going to find grace, compassion, respect for yourself and the person that you are at your core. And if you're in the middle of the shame and the regret and the guilt, that might be hard to believe right now. But I get to see that transformation happening every single day. So take hope, And if you'd like to know how to get started on that journey, join me in my free masterclass, How to Take Back Control of Your Life After Divorce. In that masterclass, I talk about the specific changes that happen in the nervous system, so in your physical body, in response to the trauma of losing a primary relationship. And when you understand the physiologic impacts and how that's affecting everything that you're doing and feeling and thinking, it's going to give you a very clear roadmap to start moving out of that. And the path to this brighter place that I'm talking about is going to become a lot more clear and tangible for you. So go ahead and click the link in the video description below or here on the screen. Join me in the free masterclass, and I will see you guys there.